Rubeus Hagrid was one of the first characters we were introduced to in the Harry Potter series. We first meet him when he successfully delivers the baby Harry to number 4 Privet Drive on the night that James and Lily Potter died. Described as twice as tall and 5 times as wide as a normal man, Hagrid's enormous size was often misleading to those who met him for the first time. He would be considered as a gentle giant with an incredibly kind heart. As soon as we were introduced to Hagrid, we see how well respected he is amongst many other wizards, with Albus Dumbledore stating that he would trust Hagrid with his life. Hagrid was born on the 6th of December 1928 to his father, who was a wizard, and his mother, Fridwulfa, who was a giantess, thus making him a half-giant. When Hagrid was about 3 years old, his mother abandoned him and returned to her giant colony, leaving his father to raise him. Hagrid had no significant relationship with his mother, but he was incredibly close with his father, who tragically died when Hagrid was just 12 years old. Hagrid attended Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and it is said that his father was thrilled when Hagrid was accepted into school. Hagrid had an obsession with magical creatures ever since childhood. Often, these creatures would be what others would describe as monsters, although Hagrid always seemed to look past the fact that these creatures were dangerous and thought them to be very misunderstood. Perhaps this was due to the way he had been treated because he was a half-giant. Many people would have assumed that he would be incredibly violent or dangerous, whereas in Hagrid's case, looks were incredibly deceiving. Hagrid soon began caring for the giant spider Aragog and kept him hidden in the castle, often bringing him scraps of food from the Great Hall during dinner. Eventually, Tom Riddle discovered the existence of Aragog and decided to frame Hagrid for the death of a girl, which was a result of the Chamber of Secrets being opened. Hagrid was of course innocent, but he was punished for opening the chamber and setting the monster onto other students. Of course, we know that Aragog was not the monster in the chamber, and that it was in fact the basilisk that was attacking other students. Ultimately, Hagrid was expelled during his 3rd year at Hogwarts, and his wand was snapped in half. He was, however, allowed to stay on at Hogwarts as the school gamekeeper. This was largely down to Albus Dumbledore, who believed that Hagrid was indeed innocent and suspected Tom Riddle at the time. He managed to smuggle Aragog into the Forbidden Forest, where he then found him a wife, and they built an extremely large colony of spiders. Hagrid continued to work at Hogwarts for many years and remained extremely close and loyal to Albus Dumbledore. He then joined the Order of the Phoenix during the First Wizarding War, and as mentioned earlier, safely delivered Harry to the Dursleys after James and Lily Potter were killed. Hagrid was then given another important task: to collect Harry from his aunt and uncle's house. He was shocked to learn that the Dursleys had kept everything a secret from Harry, and Hagrid was the person to tell him he was a wizard and the real reason for his parents' deaths. Hagrid then accompanied Harry to Diagon Alley to help him buy his school supplies. During this trip, he safely collected the Philosopher's Stone from Gringotts Bank so that it could be moved to Hogwarts School. This was another example of the trust Dumbledore had in him, as he would regularly give Hagrid extremely important responsibilities. In Harry's 3rd year, Hagrid was given the job of Care of Magical Creatures teacher after Professor Kettleburn retired. Hagrid was over the moon, but he often used this opportunity to show his classes a number of dangerous creatures, making his lessons somewhat unpopular amongst the students. Hagrid was eventually removed from the school for a short period during Dolores Umbridge's brief spell as Hogwarts headmistress. Umbridge and several other wizards tried to attack Hagrid during the middle of the night, but he managed to escape, showing excellent combative skills and physical strength. Once he had escaped from the school, he went to join Albus Dumbledore, where he continued to help him with his work in the Order of the Phoenix. Hagrid continued to play his part in the resistance against Voldemort, and helped the Order of the Phoenix during the Second Wizarding War. After Voldemort was defeated, Hagrid remained at Hogwarts, and he was still present at the age of 90. During the epilogue of the Deathly Hallows, when Harry arrives at King's Cross with his children, we learn that Hagrid is indeed still present at the school, and that they had arranged to meet him for tea. Overall, Hagrid was an extremely valuable character and played a huge role in Harry's life, being the first point of contact he ever had in the wizarding world. Apart from his love of monsters, which included creatures such as giant spiders, baby dragons and three-headed dogs, the only other negative Hagrid had was his tendency to unwittingly reveal important information. Hagrid enjoyed a drink or two, often in the Hog's Head or the Three Broomsticks, and if he had had one drink too many, he would be likely to reveal certain secrets or key information that should have been kept to himself. However, these flaws do not change the fact that Hagrid was a good, honest man with a kind heart and the best of intentions to do good at all times.